Good morning, Northaven family and friends, and welcome to another edition of Northaven Voices. I have the pleasure today of interviewing Nan Arnold, and I really don't know Nan that well, so I'm looking forward to learning about what you're up to and your life. So, question about Northaven. When did you start at Northaven?
Well, the first attendance in Northaven was an Ash Wednesday in 1991. And I had heard a lot about Northaven, and I was kind of looking around, kind of sort of church shopping, not really. But back then, had a lot of friends that loved the Dallas Cowboys. And we would have watching parties, and so the games were either at noon or 3. And at the noon games, I met at all the games, I met people I didn't know. And the noon people would always be late. And they were coming in from church. And some of them were in the choir, and they'd say, "Oh, so we're late, what's the score?" And then I'd say, "Well, where do y'all go to church?" And they said, "Well, Northaven." And that's how I first learned about it. And, those friends told me about it. And, it's kind of way before the internet was the way it is now. So I just showed up one Ash Wednesday, which is kind of an odd time to go to church for the first time. Not exactly uplifting, but I liked it, and I love John Thornburg.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay. I came, I guess, after John when Eric was there. So
yeah.
I heard so many wonderful things about John.
And he was terrific. I mean,
yeah.
we've been fortunate to have really good pastors.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So what do you do? I know it's been a little hard to schedule because you've been really busy. So, what entertains you during the week? Or
well, my work is pretty entertaining, that's for sure. So, fortunately, I've been really busy because my company, it's a very small company, fluctuates with the economy. And so I work with land developers and construction. After the streets, lights, and utilities are installed, I come in and put in any improvements or amenities.
Oh.
That could be anything from guardhouses, fences, walls, swim clubs, fitness, workout rooms, whatever, clubhouses, lakes, fountains, trails, to not only for marketing purposes, but to make communities more, livable and enjoyable.
Okay. So these homeowners associations, kind of, that's the developers, you work with them, or?
I work strictly with developers.
Okay.
Buy raw land, put in streets, lots, and utilities, and then I come in behind those folks. Now, up front, I may work on a project 2 years before I even touch a piece of dirt.
Oh, wow.
Budgets and working with architects to hone in on the exact, final design of the project, and millions of budgets.
Yeah. Oh, so how did you get into this?
Well, we probably don't have time for all of that, but
okay. Well, just briefly.
I attended my first 2 years of college here at the University of Dallas in Irving. I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed to go to school. Mm-hmm. So a very long story how I ended up to be the only Baptist at a Catholic school, but I did. And so I was just simply taking all my requirements, liberal arts school, and I had an epiphany and some really fortunate situation in the summer between my sophomore and junior year in college, where I really realized I wouldn't call it a calling, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do, or at least the field I wanted to be in. Mm-hmm. So I had to transfer. I went to the University of Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas. Okay. And my sister lived here in Dallas, and I would always come back here in the summers to work. So that's how I ended here. But my degrees are actually in urban horticulture and landscape design.
Okay.
Through a series of being very blessed and fortunate of different jobs. I worked right out of college 2 years as a golf course superintendent and horticulturist at Brookhaven Country Club here in Dallas. Then I worked for 4 years for the town of Addison when it was booming, just starting from nothing and just crazy. And so I learned a lot about construction there. And then I was fortunate enough to be called by the Trammell Crow Company, and I worked for them for 4 years in residential subdivision development. And in 1987, I was laid off with 10 other people that day, and I started my own business the next day.
Wow. How to bounce back. And so how many employees are you in your small business?
I have one, there's me, and I have one employee that's my assistant. That's truly a godsend. And then I have a contract with a third party guy, David, who's wonderful, and he drives. So I am it's nothing to go 150 to 200 miles a day. So we spend a lot of time in the car. So while he's driving, I'm working, email, text, calling. I mean, the radio is never on.
Yeah, that's your office, it sounds like.
It really is. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I know you said you've been super busy. I know a lot of folks have been moving to Texas. And so I imagine those developments, like just driving out north, it's amazing, how all of that community. I moved here in 78, and I remember driving up past Flower Mound, and it was basically fields and stuff. Yeah. So now it's just, lots of development all over. So, do you do anything downtown or anything? Do you do anything? I mean, is it usually just raw land? Is that what you? Pretty
much. I mean, I had, there are exceptions where I do jobs that are or projects that are different. But typically it starts with raw land. But the growth you're talking about, that's happening all over the Metroplex. I mean, every direction.
Really?
Yeah, I do a lot of work down southeast in Mansfield and Forney, Northwest Fort Worth, Frisco, you name it. It's all over.
Yeah.
Developers right now just can't put lots down fast enough.
Wow. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not sure.
It's going to end. It at some point it will cease.
Yeah. I imagine. I mean, it's good to have some economic growth, but I think we've all lived through those bubbles and then the crash. And like you said, I guess your industry is affected pretty rapidly when, housing kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of said it was a bit of a calling to do landscape design or something in the design area. I think that's awesome because I find that fascinating too. I love to garden. I don't design though. So how did you know that it was the design aspect that you were drawn to?
Well, it was really more horticulture.
Okay.
And I'm from a farm. I'm from a farming family. My dad was a farmer and rancher, so we grew up on the farm. And so I love to be outdoors.
Okay.
Shockingly, I was a tomboy. And so I was with my dad all the time. That's why I can't cook, even though my mom was a really good cook. Not I. So I was with my dad. And so I always loved the outdoors. And I was able, I think I mentioned between my sophomore and junior year, I went home from Dallas to spend the summer. And my dad talked to this guy, and I had a job in the summer working outdoors at the University of Arkansas Experiment Station in Hope, Arkansas. And Daddy's like, well, it's going to be hot and everything. Like, I didn't know that, but it was fine. And so they had obviously experiments going on with the University of Arkansas. So these professors and people would come down, and we were doing all this test stuff, and through some kind of a funny story. But anyway, I got to know those guys really well. And believe it or not, I used to look a lot younger than I was. That was before my hair was totally gray. And they thought, so one of them asked me what year of school I was in. And I said, well, I'm going to be a junior. Well, they thought I meant a junior in high school.
Oh, wow.
Really, it was a junior in college.
Oh.
And so they started recruiting me.
Oh.
And they said, well, could you come to dinner with us, tonight at wherever they were staying? Believe me, well, not a lot of selection and hope. And so it didn't take me long to realize they thought I was in high school. And I said, oh, no, I'm going to be a junior in college. And so Dr. Einert's eyes were like, really? And they said, well, we just feel like you're a fit for what you're doing here. And anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was my advisor. I lost 60 hours when I transferred.
Oh.
But I did make a promise to myself to not go to summer school, but go one extra semester and make it all up, which I did. So, but they led me through many different types of horticulture courses so I could choose my field or a major. And so I had some really good guidance.
That's awesome. I think it's real important to kind of try different things, and then you eliminate what you don't, which you're not interested in order to find what you are a lot of times. But okay, you said something I wanted to circle back on was the farm. I'm a city gal. So tell me a little bit about growing up on a farm and siblings and in Arkansas, right?
Yeah. Well, my dad, it wasn't considered a humongous farm. He had cattle, timber, and, maybe farmed, I think, about 800 acres of either soybeans or cotton. Cotton when I was young, and then soybeans later. But, we didn't like have, I didn't pluck eggs or whatever you do and milk cows, nothing like that. But I was always with him when I could be. So he, I have one brother, one sister, and, he was able to put us all through school, one through medical school. And,
oh, wow.
We weren't wealthy, but we certainly weren't, we were very comfortable, and he worked very hard. And so did my mom. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and raised us. And yeah, so it was a great way to grow up.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, was this, you said Hope, but it wasn't in Hope, Arkansas, was it? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, well, the farm and this tiny little community I'm from, Deanne, doesn't even have a population sign. That's where our home was. And Hope was 10 miles away. So that's where we went to school and everything.
So the obvious question I have to ask is, did you know Clinton? I mean, what? I
didn't, but my sister and Bill Clinton are the same age.
Okay.
Exactly. And
they in school together, or
a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then one of my cousins, Joe Mosley, his picture ended up on Time magazine with Bill Clinton on a stick horse.
Oh, how funny.
It was hysterical. Yeah. So, but my sister Ann was really good friends all growing up with Mac McClarty, who was Bill Clinton's press secretary for 2 or 3 years. And then he kind of wanted to get back into the private sector, I think. But when President Clinton or Mac were in town, they would always call Ann and her husband and have dinner or whatever. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, small town, so
very small town.
Yeah, very cool. So, how did you meet Linda, or when did you meet Linda?
I met Linda. This is pretty corny. I met Linda at church.
Oh, that's not corny. That's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, she had been recruited by Mary and Lisa and a few more folks that back in, how long have you been at Northaven?
About 10 years.
10 years. So you remember the little orchestra we had?
Yeah, well, on special occasions, I don't
think.
Okay, yeah.
So they recruited her because she played the French horn. They found out she had played the French horn in high school.
Okay.
So they talked her into playing, and I saw her, and I had heard the name, but I didn't know her. Mm-hmm. So I called a couple friends that other attorneys that I know, kind of check up on her.
Yeah. Okay. And she is an attorney, correct?
She is.
What kind of law does she practice?
Probate and estate planning.
Oh, okay. Very good. So I guess you've got all that taken care of.
Yes. Yes, and it's updated frequently.
Okay, you guys are on it. Very good. Okay, another quick question. You said something about being the only Baptist in a Catholic college. So share with me a little bit about kind of how that happened and your spiritual journey, I guess, a little.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's definitely part of it. I never really thought about that being part of my spiritual journey, but now that you said it, was. So I mentioned that my sister and I are really close. My brother too, but I'm the youngest of the three, if you can believe it.
Okay.
So we're way spread apart. I'm 8 years difference than my sister, and my brother's 15 years older than I. So my sister and I were, pretty close growing up. I was always hanging around and stuff. But then when she left to go, but we would fight, like, sisters fight.
Yeah.
And but when she left to go to college, I was devastated.
Yeah.
And apparently she might have missed me a little more than she ever let on. But so time kind of moves on, and unlike my sister in the 4th grade decided she was going to be a doctor and never deviated.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then there's me that's like, I have no clue what I'm going to do. So she comes home from college one day, for, I don't know, Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I'm in, I guess, junior high or middle school. And she had this plan. And she goes, okay, Frank. So I have a nickname anyway. That's what she called me. And she said, here's the deal. If you want to do this, I'm going to finish my pre-med in 3 years, which she did.
Wow.
I'm going to go to medical school, which will take 4 years, which of course she did. I'm going to do my first year internship wherever. And in my first year residency, you'll be a freshman in college. And so why don't you just come wherever I'm doing my residency?
Wow.
And we did that.
Wow. I love it. Somebody that has their life so mapped out.
Yeah, well, she did. but I mean, it was a good plan.
Yeah.
So I guess when you take your SATs, I don't know what they do anymore. I don't think they even take them.
Yeah.
You have your scores sent. They just send the scores out to 3 schools of your choice, I guess, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only school I knew in Dallas, I'd never even been to Dallas, was SMU.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, I'll just go to SMU. So had my scores sent there. I looked in the index of the little book, and it had University of Texas in Arlington. So I knew Arlington was nearby. I don't know how I knew that. And then it had another one, Dallas University of. I thought, that's got to be in Dallas. So I come to visit Ann, and we go to SMU, and I nearly had a heart attack. I mean, it's 40 times bigger than my hometown. So I'm thinking, no, I don't know about this.
No, wait a minute. Ann was it doing a residency here in Dallas? Is that right?
Southwestern. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So she had actually done her internship at the University of Alabama in Birmingham.
Okay.
Almost stayed there.
Mm.
In fact, I went to visit Stanford in Birmingham.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, so she ended up here. So that's kind of last minute.
Okay.
Because not very many women at that time were accepted at Southwestern. She was the first one in internal medicine.
Mm-hmm.
First
Wow.
ever accepted.
Wow. That's quite the groundbreaking. Wow.
Yeah. She got all the brains.
Oh, well.
So University of Dallas called me just, on the phone. Mm-hmm. I remember talking in the kitchen. I'll never forget this. So I pick up the phone on the wall, and this really pleasant voice is Nan there. And I said, yes, this is she. And she said, well, this is Sister Mary Margaret from the University of Dallas. and I nearly passed out.
That sounds like the beginning of a joke or something. Sister Mary Margaret.
I had no clue it was a Catholic school.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But she was so nice. And she explained a little bit, and I said, well, I'm Baptist. She said, well, it's okay. We'll take a Baptist.
We need some heathens in our midst.
Exactly. So, and I was raised Southern Missionary Baptist at a very small church.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And so I go out there and visit. And campus is in Irving, right where Old Texas Stadium used to be.
Right.
So she meets me in full habit. That's all. Well, yeah. And wow. I fell in love with that woman. She was so nice. And
wonderful.
She showed me all over the campus, explained everything, told me I would not be required to take any courses in Catholicism.
Okay.
Everybody else would.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going, and it's 1,200 students.
Oh, wow.
Very small campus. And so I'm not sure about this, but when I first started, I thought, I think I'm the only one from a public school too.
Oh, wow.
All those kids had been to private schools, and I kind of had to really learn to study. It's not an easy school.
No, but good for you for, being out of your comfort zone, and also for folks there to see, somebody that's not in the, I guess, orientation that they had with Catholicism.
Yeah.
So
and I got to know, I had some really good friends there. I don't do Facebook, so I lost touch, pretty much with everybody. And then when I transferred, but it killed me to transfer. I mean, I wanted to for study, but I didn't want to leave all my friends. But they have a program there at the University of Dallas. It's not an exchange program. They have a University of Dallas in Rome, and so it's a campus. And so I went there. You can choose your sophomore year to go one semester. So your whole class goes over there.
Had you ever been out of the country before?
No.
Okay. So how fun was that?
It was, at first I was a little homesick, but it was great. I mean, my little world went from this to.
Right. And were you there a whole semester? So learning Italian and.
I took Italian, and I had taken some Spanish, so I could get by.
Yeah.
But you have, just like anything, you need to practice it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a great experience the way they set the program or established the program. It involves a lot of travel, and you go to school. We went to school from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. 4 days a week, and you had 3-day weekends to travel, 2 10-day breaks.
Oh, great. So
one was a planned trip to Greece with the class. So it was very educational and fun.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're kind of coming to a close. Anything else you want to share or loved learning about?
I am thrilled to be a part of Northaven. I can tell you that. And
yeah.
Happy our new pastor. She's awesome. So
yeah, she is.
We lucked out yet once again.
We did. I know. Like you said earlier, it's just been a string of really great folks. So.
Yeah, it has.
All right. Well, thank you, Nan. And
all right.
Get out in the garden like I'm going to.
I am. I'm headed there right now.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.